Good afternoon, boys and girls, and welcome back to reading. Today's learning target is, I can demonstrate knowledge of distinguishing characteristics of well-known children's literature, such as fairy tales. So, boys and girls, last week we were working with fables. Now we're going to be working with fairy tales. So before that you watch this video, you should have already read the story of Cinderella. Now, Cinderella is a perfect example of fairy tales because before reading the story of Cinderella, you should have done the very first video that explains what is fairy tales. And remember, fairy tales have magic, they have good versus evil, and things like that. And also know that fairy tales are also passed down from generation to generation and retold in very different ways. I'm pretty sure most of you have probably read or have seen movies of Cinderella, but told in many, many, many different ways. So, for our fairy tale for today, you were supposed to have read Cinderella, and now you are going to watch me model and basically reviewing what we've been doing for the past several weeks on setting, story theme, problem and solution, being able to identify different characters and things like that. So make sure that you do have a copy of this. You don't have to, but it is highly recommended that you are following along with me with your printed copy of this same worksheet, and we're just going to fill it out together. And then you're going to go off on your own into Schoology and do the rest of your assignments on your own. So we're just going to go ahead and right at the top, so fairy tale title. Our title is Cinderella. Okay, so first things first, what is the story about? Well, we're going to use complete sentences while we're doing this. So boys and girls, make sure you follow along with me, please. The story, and my R is a little long, but that's okay. The story of Cinderella is about, whoops, get ahead of myself, is about a sweet girl who dreams about going to the ball to meet the prince. And boys and girls, this is a very short and very quick just sentence about the majority of the story of Cinderella, okay? Going to the ball to meet the prince, but her stepmother will not allow it. Hopefully I can squeeze that in. I'll just write that down here. Will not allow it. Okay. So now, the setting of the story. So boys and girls, remember the setting of any story is basically where is this story taking place. So with that being said, excuse me, the setting was taken in different parts of the story. So with this, we're just gonna fill in a couple of things. So in the story, it was at Cinderella's home. So we'll write that. Cinderella's home. Another one was the prince's castle, or the ball. We'll say the ball. Ball. I should say the ball. There we go, the ball. And then a kingdom far away, because we're not exactly sure what kingdom. We just knew it was a kingdom far away. So, in a kingdom. Okay. Now, we're going to jump over here and go to the characters. So, our good characters in the story, well, one was Cinderella. and then the prince. And then let's go to the bad. The bad, well, that would be the stepmother and stepsisters. Stepsisters. Okay. Now the story theme. So, boys and girls, while you were reading this story, did you know what the theme of this story is? Have you ever thought that the story of Cinderella had a theme? Well, the story of Cinderella teaches the morals of kindness to everyone, no matter what. So, I'm going to write teaches the morals of kindness to everyone. Okay. Let's go ahead and move downward. Okay. So moving downward, what was the problem in the story, boys and girls? So what was the problem? Especially towards Cinderella. The main problem was, so we're just going to say, main problem was Cinderella wanted to go to the ball. Very good. So what was the solution to that? Do you remember? The fairy godmother helped Cinderella attend the ball. Okay. Now, boys and girls, was there any magic in this story? Yes, of course. So magic was basically the fairy godmother. She was the main magic of this story. So we're going to say the fairy godmother used her magic to make Cinderella's dream come true. Okay, hopefully you can see that. All right, and now right here, this is going to be a personal comment. So book recommendation. So basically I would say, or you would say, boys and girls, whether you would recommend this story to a friend or family, or you would not, and you would explain why. So I'm going to say yes. I would say in a more complete sentence. I would recommend this story to a friend to help their understanding of fairy tales. Oops, fairy tales. Whew, there we go. All right, and then down here we would rate the story. So this particular Cinderella story, I would probably have to give it not 5 stars, but I'll probably just do like 4. So you would just kind of like color in the stars. You don't have to do this, but it's just kind of a fun way to kind of get you a little bit more involved in our readings. All right, and then created by, this is where you would write your name. So, Mrs. Strasbaugh, or your name. Okay, so boys and girls, the purpose of this video was basically to kind of review everything that we've been talking about when it comes to storytelling. So understanding setting, understanding theme, problem solutions, the characters that are in the story, and so on. So now, after you've watched this video, you are now going to go back into Schoology and complete today's assignments. It has been a pleasure teaching you today, and I will talk to you next time. Farewell!